up, guys? Showing off a couple firsts and a couple last things here. So I hope you like it. This is the last Eye of Horus dial that I have. I did, I think, 3 of them or 4 of them over the years, and I held one back, and I'm finally putting it out. So, not that I can't make another one, but it's a different style dial. This is an acid etched dial. The dials I do now are laser etched. So different dial guy that I used to work with. So acid etched Eye of Horus. This has a color shift brown to purple with glitter throughout. It's been sanded and loomed. Silver handset in there. This is in a 960 polished case. I was able to pick up adapters because the 960 cases come with their own bands and they're tied in. I was able to find adapters. So we've got it on a nice Milanese. Gilded movement. If you recall, I only have so many of those. This was from another company had these movements made, and after they produced their watches, which I can't find because I'd like to buy those and see what their cases are like and build stuff off those cases. Can't find them, but they had gilded movements, so there's only so many of those that I have, and they are not produced from the factory, at least at this point, and they haven't been for years. So I don't know if they made them separately is what I'm getting at. I've never seen them on the site in the 4 years I've worked with this movement. So when I came across them, I was quite excited. So you've got a gilded movement in there, low profile exhibition caseback, milled crown, and then this Milanese is kind of special. I just got these in, so it's a first for this. This is a deployant clasp Milanese. So what you'll do is you'll set your where it fits your wrist fine. All you do is lift this up and you slide this in and out. You go, oh, I think right here is going to fit good. And then throw it on your wrist, close it over, and see if it fits. So like for me, I have a pretty small wrist, but getting it to my wrist is the hard part. Look at that. See, that actually needs to be tighter, but for me, I have a wide bottom of my palm, so it makes it, I'm not trying to do that, but getting it on my hand, I don't have the same, the wife has no trouble, but you can see that's about my wrist size, but getting that over my hand to my wrist actually needs to be smaller. But it's a quick, easy set. So open that up, lift this up, and then slide. And then once you have it set, that's all you ever need. Now you're done. So you can make that as tight or as loose as you need it to be. Just a double pinch on the side. And then slide it open. And push it back down so it grabs. So that is the build. So we've got a bezel that will turn if you want to turn it. Actually, I got it on there real tight, so it won't even, actually it doesn't even turn, which is great, because who cares if it turns? There's no markings on it. But since this is polished, you are going to get fingerprints everywhere, because this is tough to work with. So you'll have an extra little microfiber in there for that, and then a different microfiber for your acrylic glass. So nice pop of color, everything done in a polished silver except for your pop of color. So automatic mechanical, you can wind it, wear it, put it in a watch winder. But if it's dead or you're not going to be very active, make sure you wind it a little bit before you put it on so that it's running, because it's going to be that mixed with the rotor movement to keep you going throughout the day. But Back the ground off the threads until you hear it and feel it clicking. At that point, you can wind, and a wind is a turn that way. I go back and forth. This is an input, this does nothing, this is input, this does nothing. It's a lot easier to just keep my fingers on there. Because when I do this, I always end up winding it back on. So, when you're happy with your winding, you're going to pull it to the one and only click. And you can now set your time. It does not have a hacking movement, so it's going to keep going. And you also notice you've got a wobble crown. That deflects lateral pressure from going into the stem and into the movement. So when you're pushing and prying on it, you are not putting any adverse pressure on there. Okay, Google, what time is it? 2:26 p.m. 2:26 p.m. When you're good, push it over, get it out of that time setting, and then wind it down. Where's my light? Show off the little bit of loom that you've got from the thin hand set and your pips. And it also shows off fingerprints. So there you go. If it's going out to you, congrats. This has quick release on here. What's odd is I ordered 2 of these to try them out. One came with quick release and one didn't. And the problem is the way these are set up on the back is if you don't have the quick release in these little things, you can't actually pop them back out if you use regular spring bars. So it sounds like I'm going to have to order some 18mm spring bars so that I can use the other one at one point. If I want to use the deployant side, the deployant style one, I have another one that doesn't have quick release. That is just the standard where they pop off into 2 different pieces. But yeah. So I thought this came out pretty awesome. Let's see. It's going to come with matching beads. That's what I was like, wait, there's something else. Matching beads. We actually had some brown that have that iridescent kind of pop to them right there. So worked with it very nicely. So come in a brown BBW box. Special edition box. It's going to come with 2 microfibers. You're going to have one that's going to go with your fine scratch remover for your glass. It's acrylic glass. You can scratch it if you do put a tiny bit of this on it. Buff it out using your included microfiber with the scratches up and down. Go left and right, polishing it, hazing it, filling it in. You're also going to have watch cleaners that's good on all glass and metal parts. So this watch as a whole, non-streaking, non-toxic, non-residue. And that's probably what you'd use with your other microfiber. That microfiber is to keep it nice and pretty because you will fingerprint it. It will fingerprint all over the place. But a lot of times you can kind of wipe them in if you have to. But you can always polish it. If you would scratch this, which it's possible, that's why I don't work with polished cases too often, as they come to me with little hairline scratches and such. You use a Dremel with one of these soft brushes here and some buffing compound, and you'll literally knock the scratch out in seconds. You start off at like 500 speed, maybe move up to 1,000. You just go back and forth. It's going to haze it. If you push harder, you'll kind of actually see what's going on, and then you can wipe it down with like a microfiber. But it's actually not too difficult to clean something up if you would, rub it on something on the side. But that's the build. If it's going to you, congrats. You got the last Eye of Horus. Until I make one lasered. And it won't look the same. But until someone would specifically order one, this is the last one that will get made. So unless you really have to have one, it's not going to look the same as this. I cannot make them look the same as this. I can make it close, but it's a different technology making that dial. So if it's going to you, congrats. Thank you so much for your support. If you want me to build you something custom and unique, reach out and I'll see what I can do. And if you want to continue to see videos like this, like and subscribe as I put them up all the time. There it is. Thank you, guys.